quite often football fans and football clubs will think and believe two different things. And that's normal. And to be honest with you, I think it's quite important sometimes that they do have different sets of beliefs. And this scale of discrepancy for football fans is much larger and greater than it is for the football club. I think they've almost got to stick to a certain belief and they're not really allowed to move from that. Whereas in the fan base, you're going to get a vast amount of opinions and beliefs, especially in regards to this topic, and that is potential relegation for West Ham United. At one end of the scale, you've got some West Ham fans who believe we are getting relegated and that's that. You will not convince them we are not getting relegated. And they're entitled to think like that. They're entitled to believe that. On the other end of the scale, you've got some West Ham fans who think we are staying up. You won't be able to convince them that we're getting relegated. They're adamant we are staying up. Everything will be okay. That's also acceptable. That's fine too. The discrepancy between the two is significant, and there's thousands of West Ham fans in between with varying different opinions. Here's where I sit to give you an example. I think there's a good chance we get relegated this season. If we continue as we did on Monday night, we will get relegated. But I don't believe we are 100% getting relegated yet. There's 30 games left this season. And what I would say is even those who are adamant we're going down have to concede that mathematically there's still a hell of a lot of football left to play. So is it possible West Ham can still stay up? Absolutely. Is it possible West Ham can get relegated? Absolutely. If the damage Monday night's done for me is quite irreparable, actually. We could go to Leeds on Friday, win 2-0, win comfortably, put in a really good performance, and I will feel better. But will I go back to the comfort I felt in regards to staying up that I did before the Brentford game? No, it won't. The damage that game has done in regards to my confidence of us not getting relegated is quite significant, actually. What I felt on Monday was not new. It's been a long time since I felt that way. I was watching it thinking we are going down. That's how I was feeling. But I've calmed down a little bit since then. And I still think we are likely to go down. And a good performance on Friday, it will repair it a bit, but I will not go back to the levels as I was before Monday's game. I think it's because I now have evidence as to what Nuno is capable of in a not so good way. So that's the fans. The discrepancy is huge. You're allowed to believe we're getting relegated and that's that. You're perfectly entitled to think that. But for the club, they cannot believe that. The board of West Ham are not allowed to believe we are getting relegated and that's that. Nuno is not allowed to believe we're getting relegated and that's that. The players aren't either. And if they do, we might as well pack up and go to the Championship already. There's way too much of the season left to even believe that as a football club. They're not allowed. They have to continue believing that we're going to stay up. The board has to do everything they can to support Nuno. Nuno has to do everything he can in regards to the squad, and the players have to do everything they can in order to stay up. They're in control of it. Fans, we are not. We are not in control of if we stay up. We can have an impact at games, of course we can. But ultimately, it's those in the boardroom, in the dugout and on the pitch that will decide if we stay up or go down this season. And with that in mind, they have to do everything, absolutely everything, to stay up. Nuno has to rinse every bit of talent out of this squad. They have to be preparing for the January transfer window now. So that come January the 1st, the bids are in, they know exactly who they want, and they're going to do their utmost to get them to the club. They have to be doing their scouting and their research between now and then, so that the 1st of January, and you're not pissing around with players that don't want to come, they're not going to join us in a relegation battle. You've got months to get things ready for January. But what can the club do between now and then? What can they do different? What can they improve that helps Nuno? And it's got to be his backroom team. Now, let me stress very clearly here. This is not a kick-in for those that have been promoted from the academy team into Nuno's backroom team. I am pleased they've been promoted. I'm pleased they're part of it. And I want them to continue as part as Nuno's backroom team. 99% of you will understand, and I'm going to give up with the 1% already. That's not clear enough. I won't be able to help in any way. But I think it's important we add to that now. When the news came out at the end of the international break that was Nuno's backroom team at West Ham, I was concerned. And I think you're allowed to be positive and negative at the same time. I was positive that we'd promoted from within. I was positive that we had coaches who perhaps understood West Ham more than Nuno and Nuno's backroom team. If they arrive, Potts, Robson, etc., they will get West Ham more than them. I'm pleased they're part of it. I still am. But I was concerned because when we look at Nuno's success at other clubs, his backroom team are with him at every single club. Nuno has never had a job without them. Sometimes he'll only have 3 of the coaching team, and then the next job will be a different 3. I covered this last week. I'll put a link to the video below where I look at who Nuno's coaching team was, or who was in it, at Wolves, Tottenham, Nottingham Forest, and also in Portugal as well before coming to the Premier League. We'll have a look at who was at each club. So you can check that out. Check out that video if you wish. But what is very, very clear, that's his trusted team. Now, Robson, Potts, Penderville and Lepine, they could be the best coaches in the world. But it's going to be very, very difficult. I would suggest near on impossible for Nuno to trust them. He might trust them a bit, but is he going to trust them as much as he's trusted those coaches he's had for his entire career so far? No, and that's not a criticism of those already at West Ham. It's just life. It's just, if you were to, if you have a business and you hire someone, no matter what your job is actually, if a new colleague starts, do you trust them 100% immediately? Well, you might do, but I think it's very difficult. I don't think it's a natural thing. You build it. Trust is built. Trust is earned. And that's got to come, and that will come. So how do we give Nuno the best chance possible? I think you go get the people he used to have and get them to West Ham. Let's discuss that in just a second. Before we do, I just want to quickly point you in direction of a fantasy football app which is completely free to play called Club. Here's a clip I recorded earlier. Let me show you how the Club fantasy football app works. Let's get it loaded up. And when you go in, the most important thing that you do is collect your cash and collect your coins. You need both of these things in order to upgrade the facilities in your club, to grow your club, giving you more money to spend on salary. And every 4 hours, you get a call from Agent Manny. And this is one of the twists on the app. You can only use the players that Agent Manny offers you. And he offers you one player every 4 hours. We've got a rare player. It's a midfielder. He plays for Chelsea. Who we getting? Lavia, maybe? It's Lavia. I don't want him. I'm going to reject him. I'm going to take the coins instead. And make sure every day that you just pop on to the bottom left option here, daily deals, and get your free gems. They are handy when it comes to just skipping part of the process, speeding up the upgrade of your facilities. And the most important part, perhaps, is when you're on the app, make sure you join the Hammers Chat League. The link to download the app's in the description below, and the code to join the Hammers Chat League is also in the description below. Get it downloaded. It's completely free to download, completely free to play. It's a little bit of fun, and good luck. If you fancy downloading it, links in the description below. It's completely free. We get a couple of quid every time someone downloads it and starts playing the game. So a massive thank you to everyone who has so far. If you've enjoyed it, just pop it in the comments so other people could see it and go, oh, well, they're enjoying it. I'm going to give it a go as well. It's a little bit of fun. It's a little bit different. It's got a few twists compared to usual fantasy football app. Right, now that Dyche has gone into Nottingham Forest, I went full geek mode here. I went and watched footage of Dyche, his first day at Nottingham Forest. I'm looking for Nuno's staff because 3 of them are still at Nottingham Forest. Rui Pedro Silva, Julio Figueroa and Rui Barbosa, who's a goalkeeping coach. They are still at Nottingham Forest. They were there under Postecoglou. They're still there now. They're still employed by Nottingham Forest today. So I'm watching these clips thinking, are they involved? How involved are they? Are they part of Dyche's team or not? Because Dyche has brought his own people into Nottingham Forest as well. He's brought in Steve Stone and Ian Woan. In fact, they've all got connections to Nottingham Forest, including Dyche himself. Billy Mercer's gone in there, who's a goalkeeping coach, and Tony Lowlin has gone in there too. So 4 backroom staff has arrived with Dyche. all with connections to Nottingham Forest, which I think has really given them an unbelievable sort of feel-good factor about it as well. But when I watched the clips, I couldn't see them. Now, if Figora's hard to spot because he's bald, right? And quite a few of Dyche's backroom team are bald. So I'm like, oh, is that? No, it's not. But the indicator was that the coaching staff pre-Dyche have all got initials on their coats, and only Dyche does. So Steve, Stone, Woney, they don't have initials yet. So I'm looking for coaches with initials on their coat and thinking, is that them? I couldn't see them. Now I might be missing them. Okay, they're not the easy. It's a bit like Where's Wally here, but I couldn't see them. That gives me a little bit of hope that they may be available. Are Nottingham Forest just employing them, hoping we're going to go along and offer compensation? Maybe they don't want to leave Nottingham Forest. That's the one thing I will concede. If they don't want to join West Ham, fair. If they don't want to leave Nottingham Forest, fair. There's not much we can do about it. But I struggle to believe that. I struggle to believe it because you're not asking them to join West Ham United, are you? You're asking them to join Nuno. You followed him his whole career. You don't want to say because of Nuno you've had a career, but there is an element of that. You've gone wherever Nuno's gone. So you're saying, come join Nuno, come be Nuno's coaching team again. He's got a 2.5-year contract at West Ham. Give them that 2.5-year contract to mirror what Nuno's got. And when I did a video a couple of weeks ago, a lot of subscribers suggested maybe Nuno wants that. Maybe Nuno wants the academy team. He doesn't want his old coaching staff. You just won't convince me. I could be wrong. Right? Those subscribers could be right. You just will not convince me that that's the case. Because Nuno's had them wherever he goes, they've been with him. And I struggle to believe he comes to West Ham after finishing 7th with Nottingham Forest last season with that coaching team. Comes to West Ham and goes, yeah, I don't need them anymore. You just will not convince me. Not convince me whatsoever. And Nuno might perform brilliantly without them. He might do. But we don't know. There's no evidence because he's had them for his entire career. But here's what we do know. When Nuno's done well at these clubs, they've been his backroom team. And I think it's important that we give Nuno every chance of relative success at West Ham, which this season is to avoid relegation. Next season, finish mid-table. Don't be in a relegation battle. I would consider that success. So I think it's important that we go get these if possible. There's only 3 of them. Yes, there will be compensation pay. I don't know how much it would be, but let's just go wild and go top end here. A couple of million maybe. I don't think you can't penny pinch this season. If it's for his coaching team, if it's a January transfer window, I don't think you can get to the point where you're penny pinching. We've pissed a lot of money up the wall in transfers. We've pissed a lot of money up the wall in terms of compensation for Potter, Lopetegui, Steiden. We paid £1 million for McCauley and ended up sacking him. We've wasted a hell of a lot of money. But it doesn't mean that every time you spend money, you're going to waste it. And I would strongly suggest that if we were to go pay compensation to get Silva, Figura and Barbosa out of Nottingham Forest and bring them to West Ham and give Nuno 3 familiar faces around him, 3 people that he would trust, I think that's priceless. I think you have to do it. Because I'll look at Monday and that lineup was madness, absolute madness. And I start to question, was he being challenged? Because Ollie Scars at right back makes no sense. I can't get over it. I cannot get over Ollie Scars at right back. In the coaching team he's currently got with Robson, Potts, Penderville, and Lepine's a goalkeeping coach, so we'll exclude him. But those 3 have worked with Ollie Scars throughout his career at West Ham. I think they must have had the reaction that West Ham fans had. They must have done and went, I'm not sure about this one, Gaffer. Maybe they did challenge him. Maybe he didn't listen. Maybe they thought it was a good idea as well. And if so, it's on them as well as Nuno. I am pleased they're part of the coaching team. And once Nuno goes, I hope they remain as part of the coaching team for the next head coach. I want them to be the familiar faces at West Ham United now. But I think it's vital the head coach has his own staff. I think it's really, really important. It makes me really nervous Nuno without them because we don't know how good he is on his own. We don't know how good he is interacting with these new people either. We're in a lot of unknown territory at West Ham right now, and I think what we need to do is just give him the best possible chance. And you won't convince me that it does not involve going and getting these people. Now, if they don't want to come, we've got a problem. We've got a big problem. And it might work out okay, and I hope to hell it does. But I'm looking for reasons to feel optimistic. Not positive, I don't think I can right now, but optimistic. I'm looking for hope because I want hope. I want to have hope. Beating Leeds would give me a little bit of it back. And I think in the last 24 hours, a couple of subscribers are in the same. I can tell by their comments, they're the same as me. You're almost convincing, you're trying to convince you, you're practically lying to yourself to some extent by going, but if we beat Leeds, that's the scenario we're in here. It feels like desperation already. And it's not because we're in the bottom three. And it's not because of the games played. We've played 8. It feels madness to feel like this after 8 games when there's still 30 left. It's not even November yet. But it's not because of the gameplay. It's just, I think, because of Monday, because of everything about Monday. The lineup, the subs, the attitude, the players' performance, everything was terrifying. And I'm now thinking, we need to make changes. And we can't bring in players, bar free agents. But what we can do is bring in Nuno's coaches. We can get them in now. And even those subscribers that think he doesn't need them, and this is a good thing. Again, we go back to the scale. Some people were really happy, saying this is the best news. We're promoted from within. He doesn't need his old coaching staff. And we had others that are on the other end of the scale, which said this is horrible news. This is Sullivan penny pinching. And as a result, we're probably going to get relegated because Nuno doesn't have his coaching team. And again, we've got everything in between. But I would ask the question to even those that felt really positive about this news, the most positive ones. Do you think Nuno's got a better chance with or without the coaching staff he's had for his entire career? And I'd be surprised if anyone said without, because there's literally no evidence to suggest that's the case. I think the priority right now for West Ham United as a football club is to go get Nuno his own men. And that might mean going to Nottingham Forest. It will mean paying compensation. And if you cannot convince Silva, Figueira and Barbosa to follow Nuno again like they have on all career, I would suggest you're terrible at negotiating and you're terrible at your job, because this should be quite an easy thing to do. We got Macaulay out of Chelsea. Macaulay was at Chelsea as assistant head of recruitment. A decent position for him at a big football club. We got him out of there to come to West Ham. You should be able to, because like I said, you're not selling them West Ham United, you're selling them Nuno. That's the guy. You're coming here to support your man. You're not coming here to play for West Ham. And you're not going to be at West Ham forever. When Nuno goes, you go, right? That's how football works. And what we've shown with Lopetegui and Potter is when Nuno goes, we'll pay you to leave. We're not going to keep you like Nottingham Forest. There's no hostage situation going on at West Ham. We pay up your contract and off you go. You get paid for your entire contract, whether you're here for it or not. It doesn't matter, because we chuck cash around badly. We don't hold on. Apparently, Potter, originally it was reported that if he gets a new job, we'll save a load of money. It's now being reported by the same person that actually we don't save any money despite him taking a Swedish job. So that would suggest that we've paid Potter a mutual agreed figure to leave the club immediately. We've paid him up. Rather than just put him on garden and leave him, hope he gets a new job and then that saves us the money. We don't do stuff like that at West Ham. We paid them millions to bugger off. Lopetegui got paid whatever it was, 1.8 or 3.3. I've got two figures in my head there. We paid him one of those sums to leave. We didn't put him on garden and leave him wait, and then he picked up the job at Qatar and off he went and saved us. We don't do stuff like that at West Ham. So whether it's Silva, Figueira, Barbosa, come to West Ham. And you come, work under Nuno, and if things go wrong, we have to sack him, we sack you as well. You get paid up. It's a brilliant gig at West Ham. You get paid for years of work for doing months of work. It's a fantastic opportunity financially. And I think we absolutely have to do this. We have to give Nuno the best environment possible. And you won't convince me otherwise. It doesn't include familiar faces that he's had at every single club previously. Anyway, I'm off. Thank you very much for joining me. Please do drop a like on the video if you've enjoyed my ramble, my grumble, my thought process. Hopefully it made some sort of sense. Subscribe to Hammers Chat. I'll catch you in a bit.